Good evening. This is Edward Washington, President of Local 2004. Today I'm going to talk about a few things. When I have receipts, what I mean by receipts is I'm going to explain from my video that I showed you exactly what their intent was, what they're trying to do, and the law they violated in accordance to what was being done in that hearing. First of all, the hearing was under false pretenses because if Human Resources had done their job, they would have told the department director that they couldn't do what they were doing. They couldn't deny me use of my FMLA, and they would have to pay me when I called out under FMLA under the law. But they didn't want to do that. So instead, when I put in my grievance, on that grievance, I told them exactly what they did and how it was not in accordance with the law. And then I also stated in my first step hearing the same thing. But the first step hearing wasn't used as a means to end the conflict or the dispute that me and the state had. It was an opportunity for an administrator to abuse her power, or their power, excuse me, and go in a whole entirely different direction outside of the law. And they did this knowingly. And I say knowingly because there was a gap between them trying this before, which is about 5 years. So in a 5-year gap, once they got an attorney's letter from my attorney telling them that what they were trying to do, which was use my allowances that I'm allowed for my health, if I call out, if I use those allowances past the number that the doctor stated, that somehow that would fall under an attendance policy that they could punish me for or deny me the use of my right to be paid when I'm not able to work. And it's just something that they just obviously just do not want to do, which you think about it, I've been working there 23 years, and they don't want to even pay me when I'm not able to work, but they know that when I'm working, I do a good job. No problems. But this is who I'm working for. Also, under the law, the FMLA law, and I'm stating that they orchestrated that hearing that you heard a couple videos ago. On that hearing, you'll clearly state, you hear me clearly state many times that they had violated the law, and the person listening to the hearing that was supposed to be the mediator, the unbiased mediator, agreed with me on the FMLA points, which I brung up, which they were in violation of, and ignored them. Now, mind you, during the entire thing of that video, they never said that I was in violation of anything or speak on why I had the grievance to begin with or a means to resolve it. The only thing they talked about was my allowances, which by law, they have no legal right to say anything about them unless you're trying to take them away from me or to violate the law or violate my rights. Now, this is not happenstance. This is not me saying, alleging anything. This is what actually happened. A head of a department ignored the law in a hearing that's supposed to be a fair and just union hearing, where they were supposed to find a ways to an end so that I could be made whole and they could be doing their due diligence and following in accordance with the contract and the law. So when you violate my rights, you automatically are violating the contract, which states that you must protect my rights and all the parties involved in this contract. So if you can't even honor the very opening paragraph of a contract, but try to hold me accountable to other parts of the contract and punish me under those same standards, it's hypocrisy at its best. And then to orchestrate a union process in an attempt to undermine something that's federally protected without cause. And I've had not one hearing, there are 2 hearings. So, I mean, I got the receipts. You're doing things, and this is my message and my question to the governor. Would you like this to happen to anybody in your family that you know? Would you like anybody to just conspire against you to violate your rights? Even when you're using the process set in place for fairness so that your gripe or your concern can be heard under a fair table, and things like this happen, that somebody in charge skips one process, takes you to the second process, doesn't even have any reason for them to take you to the second process, finds you culpable of whatever they're trying to prove in that process, taking my rights and say that now my rights fall under a state policy which they can control and tell me when I can use them based off of something that's not even a federal law or goes with any state policy. That this is alleged. This didn't allegedly happen. They did it. These people did this. And like I say, this is under your watch. It's under anybody's watch because I've exhausted all my avenues. I went to the Department of Labor. I went to the Human Resources Department. I have documentations of emails that I sent to the director of this department and the people in the Human Resources Department. Have emails. I've spelled out expressly to stop violating the law, to cease and desist. So, I mean, either you're for people doing things that aren't representative of anything that I want to be a part of. And if this is what the state is allowing to happen to people who dedicate their lives to service to them and good service and good standing, I've never done anything to make the state look bad on my behalf. I've never betrayed the state on anything when it comes to rights, children's freedoms, children's safety, children's protection, staff protection.